Okay, now Kanye is back in the news again. This time not for wearing what looks like a KKK outfit when he was talking with DJ Academics. Now it's about this song. I have not heard it. I don't know if y'all have. It's called Cousins. I think Kanye's working on an album. And supposedly the single dropped April 21st. Yeah, I'm looking now. It says released on April 21st. I haven't heard it. I'll check it out. But what's bigger than the song, what's making the rounds, is this alleged incestuous relationship he had with his cousin. Something weird going on there. I don't know if it's true. And if it is, if there's a mental health issue based on that rant he went on Twitter with, just with all of the tweets about the situation with him and his cousin, or if he's just looking for attention, I don't know. I know some people were saying, based on Kanye being older, the statute of limitations, if that's still open, I don't think anything will go to trial or a court case, anything like that. But he's saying that he had inappropriate interactions with his younger cousin back then. So I'm going more on the website. I'm on etonline.com. And one of the lyrics is hanging with my cousin, reading dirty magazines. That's what he says when the song opens up. We some N-words kissing. We ain't know what SHIT mean. Then we start reenacting everything that we had seen. So that's crazy. And then just seeing the impact of whatever they was looking at that influenced their behavior. Don't know where any of the parents were at this time. I don't know his cousin's parents. I know his mom is Donda, his father is Ray, as far as Kanye goes. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And then it goes on to say, he talks about his relationship with Kim in the song. And then he says, he keeps repeating this line, I gave my cousin head. Oral sex. And so that's what's blowing up right now. If this is true or not, that's the thing. Because I wasn't going to cover it, but then I keep seeing articles on it. And I'm just really trying to, because I saw a headline where he said, they said he said something about his cousin, some secret. And I'm like, okay, secret about a cousin, from way back with the family, whatever. But then I'm hearing more about it being of a sexual nature, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is something different. Why Kanye is revealing this now, I don't know. I don't know if it's true. He's putting it in the song with him. It probably is true. And then here goes more of what he said. I don't think they understand that I'm not attracted to a man. They thought I was gay. And I don't think Kanye is gay either. But, obviously, this was between him and his male cousin. So, back then, if it actually happened. And so, I got more on his cousin. And his cousin right now is currently serving time in jail for life. It doesn't say what he did. Oh, here it is. For unaliving a pregnant lady. A few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. That's one of the lyrics. So Kanye tells why his cousin is in jail through the song. So the whole lyric is about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. So Kanye said he feels responsible for engaging in the activity with his cousin. He didn't identify him, didn't give him a name. And so here's some more on it. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6. I don't know how old Kanye was at the time, but his cousin is the younger one. And then we acted out what we saw. So Kanye also says they found the magazines. He says, my dad, so that's Ray West, had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet, Donda, were different. Hmm. He said, okay, Kanye was 14 when this happened. My name is Ye, and I performed oral on my cousin till I was 14. So I don't know what age he was when he started, but it stopped when Kanye hit 14. So I don't think it's a situation. They both minors. I know somebody brought up statute of limitations, but I don't. They probably not that far apart in age, because he said he did this with his male cousin up until he was 14. So he started before he was 14. So it's two minors doing this. So I don't think any type of legal ramifications will come out of this in terms of him getting a criminal case. Again, I don't know what's making him come out with it now. I guess since you're making a song about it, it's on the, I'm assuming, to be next album, and you drop those type of lyrics, and you're going to have to explain more about that single. So it's real crazy out here, and I don't know if he's just attention seeking or it's an issue with mental health, a battle with mental health. Some have said he is mental and may need therapy. And he's just been going on and on X, ranting, putting out all types of tweets, things that are outrageous to say the least. But I guess all we can do is pray for him at this point. I haven't yet heard the cousin's song. Based on what I'm hearing that's in the lyrics, is not really something I'd be interested in hearing off the new album. A different single, okay, but not that one based on. But like I said, if this is true and he's just venting, getting it out, why did he hold it in for so long? Kanye is 47, the article says now. I think he's turning 48 this year. I think he's born 1977. So this is over 30 years ago, and he's held all of this in up until now. He's almost 50 years old. In 2 years, he'll be 50. So there's just so much stuff that people hold on to that we've seen this, and then they don't say anything until they are adults. And in this case, Kanye he wouldn't be looked at as the victim. That would be his cousin. He would be more as the predator in this case. But again, like I said, they said they did all of this up until he was 14. His cousin was 6. So Kanye might have been, I don't know. See, I don't know how many years they are apart. Kanye may have only been 9 when they started. And so when they finished, they was 14 and 11. So it's, both minors at the time. It's not like Kanye is 19 and his cousin is 6. So, yeah, I don't think any type of jail time would ever come from this, or any charges getting pressed. Nothing's going to come from this. But it just shows, where people are at mentally and what shapes them and how they act based on these type of actions. You go back to R. Kelly with it and him being molested as an adolescent as well, and he continued the cycle. Kanye, at 14 he stopped it, and basically, I guess, self-help. And we never heard anything as him as an adult doing anything with people under 18, no minors. It's been all adult women since he's turned 18. So, like I said, I don't think anything criminal will come out of it. But when people open up and share these things, if it's true, you definitely opens up more into their world and the type of behavior that we see them and we say they're mental and crazy or just looking for attention, which very well could be the case. But if that's not the case, opening up, you see more of all of this and why people are acting the way they do. Because there's a lot of hurt people out here, and not just Kanye West. He's revealing it through his music. Other people reveal it through making a video or just writing it down in all different ways. But we can't keep holding this type of stuff in. Because I swear when I first saw it on a YouTube video, someone said Kanye exposed his secret about his cousin. I'm like, okay, I didn't think it was going to be this. And this cousin is now in jail for life for committing a crime, taking someone else's life. And I'm not going to say that what went on between him and Kanye led him down that path of what he did to that pregnant woman. Rest in peace to her. But these type of things, dealing with sexuality at too early of an age, 6 years old, it messes up boys and girls. And who knows why he would have taken a pregnant lady's life. I don't know if he was trying to assault her, sexual essay her, or if based on, because when these things happen, whether it be incest, meaning it's two family members, or if it's people who are not related, when boys and girls take on sex at such a younger age, they don't know how to process it, and they become over sexualized, and then you get older, and then you act all of that out. You're doing stuff for power, for control, and that's landed him, possibly, I don't know what the motives was, but he's in jail for life, his cousin. And one has to think, had these episodes have not gone on between him and the older Kanye, would he even be in jail right now? And it had this not going on, would we not see all of the behavior we've seen from Kanye West over the years, especially this year with stuff that he's put on X, going on rants, talking about Diddy, talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce's kids, just a lot of out-of-pocket things. And speaking of him and Jay-Z, the article goes on to say, April 10th, he apologized to Jay-Z. It says, I'm sorry, Jay-Z. I be feeling bad about my tweet, but I still feel I gave my life to this industry and thought so many people were my family. But when I needed family on some real stuff, none of these rap N-words had my back. They reached out to Jay-Z's representative for comment, haven't heard back. But that's how he was feeling. Not that it excuses any of his behavior, but he just felt he was left out in the cold by Jay-Z and other rap artists, I'm sure. But mainly Jay, that's after Rockefeller, it was still just those two. After everybody else was gone, and he felt he didn't even have Jay. Shouldn't have been saying what he said about Jay-Z's children, but at least he apologized, and then you just see all of this other stuff with him and his cousin, that now everything wraps around and becomes full circle about mental health, and men really needing to talk about it more. The ladies expressing more with what's going on. Y'all may have seen Michelle Obama's latest podcast with Taraji P. Henson, and they're talking about the power of no, just taking your power back. And it's those two letters is just so very powerful when people coming at you with things and you just don't have the capacity to deal with it, the bandwidth as they call it. And so you say no, and then it's just relaxing. And you can better balance yourself out. And so you see them talking on the podcast, women just more open about health, mental health, and their emotions and all of that. Men can be emotional too. And you'll see men acting out being emotional when they hold stuff in like that. And so we have to, do a better balancing out as men and talking about these things. Kanye's finally talking about it in this song. I'm thinking it actually did take place. I don't think it's attention seeking. If he is just looking for attention, then this is not the way to do it, of course, where you want to make up an incestuous homosexual relationship with a younger cousin. If I'm that cousin, don't include me in some made up story for you to sell records or get attention. But I believe him, and he should have been able to talk about this years ago, something like that, before he got signed to Rockefeller. But 2025, he finally lets it out so many years later. turning 48 years old this year, and now he's finally speaking on something like this that happened before the age of 14. And it should have been discussed, but again, men, that whole emotional part of just not really tapping into that side, not to necessarily cry, but just to talk about it, express it, it just gets bottled up. Whereas the women open up right away and we'll talk it out. So I don't know. I don't think I guess it's just the role of men. And you just hold on to things, even with health and things like that. Men will wait. They don't want the world to see our pain or anything like that in terms of what's going on with us. We'll wait until it's an issue and then even try and keep the issue with health under wraps. We go into the hospital trying to take care of it, and then once it's taken care of, you might talk about it after the fact that, yeah, I survived that, but very secretive about it leading up to it and just trying to live with it. It's the role of men, I guess, and just trying to, what's the label, protect and provide for the men who are doing that, and just not a lot of time to just sit down and decompress and talk these things out. Because Kanye West probably isn't the only man that's went through I know hasn't went through some type of trauma, especially if we get into that being children and, sexual type of contact that should not have happened, whether it be between, woman and man, male and female, or female and female, or male and male at ages of 8 and 9, 10, 6 years old. That's a no-no. It should not be happening, but it does. And we need more of the people to come out and speak on it. The women do it. We need more men. The statistics will show that it far leans toward the women in terms of trauma and all of these issues, but the men are going through it too. The men just are not reporting it. So it's just something to think about. And all of the craziness that's going on in the world, so much noise, and people I think men don't talk about these things just to try and protect themselves and keep their sanity and just keep pushing forward. That everybody needs a break, have to express themselves, whether you do it through a song like Kanye West, or you do it through a video like this, or you write it down. And if you can, that's probably not the easiest part, finding someone to listen to you and not listen to respond just to have an answer for whatever you're saying, but just to listen. Listening to respond is not good, because sometimes they don't process what the victim is saying. They just waiting to answer the question or just follow up the statement. And so it's not, a natural response. But yeah, I hope Kanye, luckily he's talking about this now. And if he does need more help from this, hopefully he can talk to people. I know Donda is gone, his mom, but his dad, Ray West, is still here. I don't know how their relationship is, but he still got one parent left. And so I guess he can start there, just away from all of the cameras, and just really unpack this whole situation with him and his 6-year-old cousin. And I wonder how many people in the West family, did anyone know, or is everybody finding out like we're finding out? Maybe they thought nothing of it, just seeing them two playing as cousins. They didn't know they were into that. And, getting on, these magazines and stuff like that. How they even got their hands on them. Said his dad had magazines. Donda had magazines. Said hers were different than dad's. He didn't say what kind they were. I believe he said the dad's magazines that I said, they were Playboy. Let me just double check. Let me scroll up on the website. Yeah, he said my dad had the Playboy magazines that he found. But the magazines he found by Donda, and they were different. but he doesn't go into detail on how different they were from Playboy. We know what's in Playboy, and just those are just women in there, but I don't think it's anything in Playboy that would lead, should I say, two younger boys to do things to each other. I don't know if his mom had Playgirl magazines or whatever she had that would have them act those things out on each other. Because, dudes that's seeing sexual stuff at a younger age but is dealing with women, they'll get over sexualized, but they'll still just be doing stuff at a younger age at 12, 13 with the opposite sex. But in Kanye's case with his cousin, they doing stuff to each other, and they both males. So I can only imagine what was in Donda's magazines that he found that were different. But either way it goes, it's again another case that deals with your mental and affects mental health. Men need to speak out more. Women are continuing to speak. And if you have a story, share it, get it out. You don't have to put it on the internet, but talk to someone, and just give yourself a chance to heal and get this all out in the open. Don't hold it in, please don't. So it's an outrageous song from Kanye, from what I'm reading. I believe that it's true. I've seen some people use the word allegedly on some websites, so maybe they're a little skeptical. Again, that's what I'm saying, is he just looking for attention. I actually believe him on what he said went down with his cousin. Because that's how I'm on the E News website, and that's how it starts out. They're starting out the article after alleging that he had a sexual relationship with a cousin. So even they're not just taking it at face value, they're using allegedly. So if it's not true, then this is not the way to get attention. But some people just don't care in terms of the type of publicity they get. And if it is true, then luckily he's saying something now, finally, after all of these years. And that can really help with healing your mental health. Just holding it in will affect your mental health in a negative way. That's just my opinion on that. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you believe Kanye's story with his cousin, that they had homosexual sexual interactions as minors? Or is Kanye just trying to sell this record, Cousins, and then get people hyped up for an album and just get attention? He's attention seeking and just using a false made up story between him and the cousin, who he does not name and is in jail for life, so he says, to get eyes on him. So again, allegedly, this is what happened. And what do you guys think in the comments? Are you just over Kanye? How much help do you think he needs? Are you still listening to his music? Let me know down in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe as always to the channel. Facts of Feelings, that's all one word, no spaces. Put that in the YouTube search, Facts of Feelings, no spaces, and my channel comes right up. And this will also be down in the description of the video. My YouTube email address. Send any topics you want me to discuss, and send any videos you want me to review to kregier.mj@gmail.com. KREGIER.MJ@gmail.com. It's in the description of this video, and any videos you want to send to me that you want me to review or that you think are interesting, or any topics, send them to that email. I'll check my Gmail inbox. I'm out for now, and take control of your mental health. It's important. I'm out.